and its Bahamians aren't prepared to stand up and fight and defend their own Bahamas, then you don't deserve to have it.
Now let that sink in. Come on. Change ain't coming, change is here. You can hear it, you can feel it in the air. All politicians, put your hands in the air. Just a stick up, let me make myself clear. I'm a grown man talking, so you know what to do. No one's leaving till we figure out the truth. Why you laughing? This ain't nothing funny. So no one gets to go home till we figure out this money. Change ain't coming, change is here. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, nigga, change is here. Now if you ain't standing with us, then I know you against us. Bahamas, this ain't no time for us to be lukewarm. This is war, and we riding through the storm. Come on. Let's go, shalom to all my Hebrew brothers. To all my Muslim and Rastas, we need you, brother. Selassie, I know, I can't forget the Christians. Let's put our differences aside, cause it's a bigger mission. See, they've been doing this for years, trying to separate us. Kinda trying to keep us down and never elevate us. Now it's time to praise the Lord, cause he's about to take us over to the promised land where we can celebrate us. I got to do it for my kids that ain't even born yet. So the minute that they born, they already gotta check that check. Gotta have that time to collect, so they won't know how it feels to have that yoke around their neck. Yeah. See, y'all been robbing my grandmother, my great-great-grandmother and grandfather.
Good
it's like y'all
everybody.
can't get enough.
We'll be
y'all just keep eating
minute.
and eating and giving us nothing but taxes.
One, so make sure you share.
Y'all went even as far as to say that this country's in debt and we ain't got no money. When 9 times out of 10, everybody in this country's possibly a millionaire. It's time to wake up. Let's talk about natural resources, cause every time we bring it up, they say hold your horses. They say it ain't worth a thing, but it's worth a fortune. Meanwhile, they open up their businesses across the borders. Oh yes, we track their bank accounts across the waters. They say this country in debt, but they making millions. If we don't stop this now, they be up to billions. It's about to go down and I get the feeling we gotta cut a movie on these dirty villains. On this Lincoln Bain and his team came with information. It's like everything changed, everything went quiet. It's like so much facts and they can't deny it. They rather keep their mouths shut before they start a riot. Now look how they tryna just steal the oil. They don't wanna share with none of y'all. They been robbing us while we were sleeping. Send them to jail cause they failed, they committed treason. Change ain't coming. They say change ain't coming. The change is here. They say change ain't coming. The change is here. They say change ain't coming. No, the change is here. Listen, from Freeport to Nassau all the way to Nawa, there's no more time for us to sit back and be quiet. You understand? This is war. If they only knew who we were, if they only know who we are, they would know we are warriors. No retreat, no surrender. Just give us what you owe us. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. I feel this all the way to my ancestors. We are warriors. We only really want what's owed to us. You get it? Now free up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for being here. Let me do a little voice check to make sure we don't have any echoes. This is a surprise live, so a lot of people don't know we're live and people won't get notifications. So we need you to help us. Please help us by doing your, you know what to do. What do we call it? Your at followers and your at highlight. All right, we're going to reveal something to you. We're revealing something to you. Okay, we don't have an echo. Good. So we're gonna do your app highlight, do your shares, do whatever you need to do to make sure that persons know that we are live. Otherwise, they won't know that we're live. All right. Make sure you like and share, do your app highlight, do whatever you got to do, but make sure you get it out there that we are live. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get straight to the point with this, and you can share this, continue to share this after we're finished. And I'm going to get straight to the point with this because this is serious. All right. This is my normal live, but I'm here in the war room and welcoming all of you because we have a serious conversation tonight. I was getting calls all day. All day, my phone was ringing off the hook. Police officers were calling me. People from all walks of life, they were calling me about this this sentencing of a gentleman who was found with over 16 or so guns, over 300 pounds of drugs, etc. The numbers might be wrong, but you get it. And another contraband, parts for guns and this kind of stuff. He was definitely a smuggler and someone who intended to supply. I was getting calls all day, all over the talk shows. People were talking about what really happened. That he was sentenced, he pled guilty, and he was sentenced to 5 years. 5 years in jail is what this man got. And so people called me, upset. They were extremely upset because this gentleman got 5 years, and that's it. 5 years. 5 years. And he was caught with 16 firearms and all this other stuff. Recently we had a young man who was caught with one handgun and he was given 4 years. And this man was found with 16 firearms. The commissioner held one of them, machine guns, in his hand. And we talked, and the commissioner just talked about how we're going to get serious with crime. 16. And guess what? He got 5 years. He got 5 years for each one to run concurrently. And so I heard the talk shows were talking about this all day. Everyone, at their workplaces were talking about this all day. And they were having all these theses of why it should happen. And then the Minister of National Security came out and he spoke about why this was a good sentence. Because the guy might have gone to the Supreme Court and it would have taken long and been in the court for a long time, et cetera, et cetera. And my answer to him was, so? That's what the courts are for. The court is there to make sure that we have justice for Bahamians and for the court system, for the justice system. And so his argument that it would have dragged on in the courts was ridiculous. Because people were like, why didn't this go to Supreme Court? This was a major case. Why wasn't this intent to supply in the Supreme Court? Obviously, that amount of drugs should be intent to supply. And so how is it that it didn't go to Supreme Court, one? And two, why did Wayne Munroe jump so fast to answer? To go in the news and to try to convince everybody that, hey, y'all don't know what you're talking about. Remember, Bahamians are dumb, according to him. And I'm going to tell you how you should think. And he tried to give us some cockamamie excuse for why this gentleman got 5 years. Well, we've come today to tell you the real truth about why this gentleman got 5 years. Something that none of the media covered, and I was shocked. Not one person in the media covered the real story behind what really went down. Well, the truth of the matter is, the young man was arrested when his house was searched, and he was arrested with his mother. His mother, of course, when they find contraband in your house, they lock up everyone in the house. So he was locked up with his mother, which was interesting. Why is it so interesting that he was locked up with his mother? Because his mother works for the Ministry of National Security. How did that pass all of these media that we have? A young man and his mother was arrested. He's a locksmith, and he used his position as a locksmith in that van because no police is going to pull over a locksmith van and search them. And so he used that in order to do his business, his contraband business, his smuggling of drugs, guns, or whatever he wanted, because no one is going to pull over the locksmith. It's very rare. And so they locked him up with his mother, and not one person in the media reported that his mother works at the Ministry of National Security. Now we understand why Wayne Munroe jumped to make this awful excuse for why the boy, he's not really a boy, he's 30, for why the young man was given this strangely short sentence that is shocking to the whole country. You see, in governance, you must avoid corruption, but also avoid the appearance of corruption. No one disclosed that Miss Cheryl Key, who was locked up with the young man, works at the Ministry of National Security. Now, I know we've seen so much corruption from the PLP by now that you're not probably even surprised by all of this. But it gets worse. Not only does she work for the Ministry of National Security, she is Wayne Munroe's assistant. When you go into the Ministry of National Security and go upstairs to the second floor, she's the first person, and which is Wayne Munroe's floor. She works in his office on his floor. She is the person you will meet before you meet him. How is it that he did a whole media interview and he didn't mention that? How is it that no one in government mentioned that Ms. Cheryl Key is the assistant receptionist, that's what you'll see before you go into him, of the Minister of National Security, Wayne Munroe? And I guarantee everyone watching this, no one in the media is going to touch this. There were senior police officers who were enraged from the top ranks to the middle ranks and called me and said, Lincoln, we can't say nothing. We can't talk to the media. We can't do nothing. Lincoln, you got to speak up on this. PLP, police officers. That this stuff can't be happening in our country. This is sickening what is going on in our little nation since the PLP has come to power. It's sickening. This is beyond serious. So Wayne Munroe's assistant and her son is arrested with probably the biggest gun fine in the history of the country, drugs and whatever else. And he goes to court, pleads guilty. And so there are many senior police officers who feel that this whole thing was arranged. I'm not saying it was, But that's how it causes the public to feel about what's going on. There were 2 cases in the news today, and the 2 of them were based on apparent corruption. One was this case, and we're going to talk about this some more, and I go open the phone lines, but it's only WhatsApp today, not regular call. It was this case, and there's another case. A young man was accused of threatening the prime minister of the country, and he got probation. That's another case of corruption. Probation. I'm going to explain it to you. When I say corruption, I mean apparent corruption. I'm going to explain that too. Wait on that one. All right? And he was accused of threatening the prime minister of what would happen if they don't let me out of jail. Just for full disclosure. All right? Because I don't want to be like them. But that whole case right there is, again, apparent corruption. But I'll get to it. Wait on that. But let's get back to the case of Wayne Munroe and the corruption. You see, when you put criminal lawyers in place, they're going to defend the criminals. Wayne Munroe said a man who raped a little girl who got a 4-year sentence. That was a harsh sentence to Wayne Munroe, because he says the little girl could give consent. The child. Sick. They did a whole gang law, and I showed you the law. I read it to you. They did a gang act. It's already passed through the House. And the purpose of that gang act was to make it easy on gangs, so that if you commit a murder now and you say that it was as a result of gang, the most they could do is give you life in prison and not death. So they got rid of the death penalty. But all you got to do now is say, I'm a part of a gang, and they cannot give you the death sentence. That's what that act says. I showed you that in another live. And if it was retaliatory, if the killing was retaliatory, they can only give you up to 20 years. Now remember, a life sentence is not defined in our law. So because a life sentence is not defined in our law, you could do 8 years and get off. They could consider that life. That has been happening. There are people who have killed people and did 8, 10 years or so and gotten out. And they don't want to define a life sentence in our law, which they could have done, because they use that loophole for whoever could afford to pay for it. Their lawyer knows the argument, and that's how they get you out. It's better to get a life sentence because it's not defined. Now, I want to go back to the case we're talking about. The gentleman in question got 5 years. Now, this is the issue with that 5 years. 5 years in the Bahamas system, you only do 2/3 of your sentence. So while they're pushing this big 5-year thing, he's only going to end up doing about 3 years. I tried to not do the PLP sign. He's only going to do about 3 years. Because in our court system, you do 2/3. 1/3 is wiped off automatically. So that means for all his guns and drugs and everything, he is going to really be sentenced to 3 years. And then with good behavior, he could get that cut down even more, maybe even half. So in about 18 months, homeboy could be back on the street to sell and distribute more guns for more murders and more killing on our streets. Y'all better wake up. I hope this is making sense to you. Someone says 8 months is a year. Nope, it's not 8 months. Yeah, is it 8 months? Let me do the math. It may be 8 months. It's 2/3. All right. So that's the official law. 2/3. All right. So whatever 2/3 is, that's what it is. All right. So we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And so I wanted to bring that to the Bahamian people. That's a clear case of what appears to be corruption. Now, there were some police officers who were concerned that they were saying, well, the mother should have known. She had to smell all that 300 pounds of drugs. She had to smell that. Like, you can't even lift 300 pounds of drug. That's how much drug that is. You can't lift that. All right. They said she had to smell it. These people are complicit in these children, and they cloak these children, and she was living in there, and she works at the Ministry of National Security, and a lot of senior police officers were angry, and other persons were angry at the woman, saying she should, be charged for aiding and abetting. She could have been, but of course, she is Wayne Munroe's assistant. So that didn't happen. So yeah, he pled guilty to say the drugs was his, but if she knew it was in her house, because they said when they went to the room, it wasn't even locked. If she knew, then she is aiding and abetting. If she helped him in any way, all right, by allowing him to use her house or whatever. And so a lot of persons were angry at the mother, saying that these mothers need to stop cloaking these children, et cetera, et cetera. But I investigated, I checked into this, and I can tell you that while, because the police officers are also telling me that the woman is a big time PLP. All right? They said that the woman is a big time PLP. While that may be the case, in this case, it appears that this is a son who is terrorizing his mother. Those kinds of sons who bullies their mothers, and she felt threatened by him, I am told, by persons close to the situation. And it's like she didn't know what to do. And this happening actually saves her, because this young man didn't just start this. But she was terrorized. This woman is so stressed out by what's been going on, I am told, that she has been ill twice this year, hospitalized, to the point where her family thought that she would not have made it the last time she was hospitalized this year. And so while her family persons are saying, her family and friends are saying that this woman was basically, in fear and terrorized by the young man. She should have done what is right, and she should have reported what was going on if she knew. We can't say that she knew. All right. So, so now we have accusations of the woman being a big PLP supporter, who is the assistant of Wayne Munroe. She works right at the desk. So to get to Wayne Munroe, you got to go through her. All right. When you go upstairs to the second floor, when you come out the elevator, it's her, and then you can see Wayne Munroe. All right. They get a surprisingly light sentence. It did not go to the Supreme Court like many feel it should have. And the man could be out in 18 months, free and clear, with 300 pounds of drugs, 16 guns, plus parts, et cetera, et cetera. Crime is the way it is in this country because of us. Because we keep voting people in who repeat the same cycle. We don't have a crime problem. We have a corruption problem. I've been telling you this over and over. We do not have a crime problem. We have a corruption problem in the Bahamas. And you're seeing cases over and over where the police is being used to do the dirty work of the politicians. Police is saying, man, they get instructions from up top. Ain't nothing they could do. That's that. What you expect them to do? I expect you to do what's right and stand up for justice. We've seen police officers go and use false papers to evict persons from townhouse apartment out west, admit that the papers are false, that the papers are not for the building, and still do it. We've seen all manner of corruption as it relates to when the police are involved lately. I'm not saying all police are corrupt, no, but there are those who are being used by the corrupt politician and they're just following orders. Because if you don't, you lose promotion, you ain't get no job when you retire. And so there's a threat that they hold over your head. You heard Paul Rowell say, ministers made him do stuff he didn't want to do. But we keep repeating this cycle over and over and over. I see people now putting videos out there of saying Minis said he knew Togi and Bobo, he got fish from this one or that one. But Pintard was working with Togi and Bobo as it relates to some murder for hire nonsense, allegedly. So where do we go? Togi and Bobo work directly with Brave Davis. Directly. In fact, one of them, I don't know which one it is, Togi or Bobo, but the Vilma, whatever his name is, he's running for a position in the PLB. Or was. So, what do we do? Keep this same cycle over and over? And we're happy with that? And then we complain about the crime? You see, while you're just supporting your party, one day, the criminal is going to come to your door. The criminal is going to stop you on the light and take your car because you just needed your party in power. And there's nothing your party could do when that gun is to your head. And guess what? That criminal might be working on behalf of the politician. And so he's going to get off lightly. That's part 2 to this. There's allegations now that this boy is connected to the politicians directly, not just through his mother. There's allegations that he is directly connected to the politicians. Let me go to the next case, and then I go open the phone lines, and we're going to talk about this. All right? There was another case. I heard former third party leader who's now trying to run with the FNM after telling us for 20 years how corrupt the FNM is. But they're talking about this other case where a young man threatened the prime minister and he was given probation. That situation also smells like corruption. Just on the face of it, how it looks. It's my opinion. Because the young man was arrested, right, for threats of death. Firstly, for threats of death, it has to be someone you threatened, right? Let me see. You're not lawyers listening to this, most likely, but you have common sense, right? Let me tell you what happened. Philip Brave Davis did not testify in this case. We don't even know that he made a complaint. But we definitely know that Philip Brave Davis did not testify in this case. The complainant. And so far as I heard, he didn't even make an official complaint. They only went on the story of the police. The police said he called and he said this and he said that. Philip Brave Davis never didn't testify. Because in a case like this, one, you have to be put in fear. You could say anything to me. If I'm not put in fear of my life, then no harm, no foul. No crime is committed. And next, if you walk up to me and slap me in front of the police can't do nothing unless I make a complaint. I have to be the complainant, and I have to come and testify of what you did. This young man was convicted without Philip Brave Davis going on the stand and saying, that young man threatened me. I was in fear of my life. Convict him. doesn't add up if that's how that happened. So that's a young man who was just convicted without a virtual complainant. That has never happened in the history of the world. So if that's what happened, we got a serious problem, and I hope that the young man appeals. They said that while I was locked up, the young man called the station and said, "You better let Lincoln Bain go, or something could happen." Right? He had a lawyer. His lawyer was John Ferguson. Good young man, but he works along with Wayne Munroe and them. He's a PLP. He's a hardcore PLP. So when I saw that Bajon was his lawyer, I was like, oh, he had problems. Because on both sides, he has a hard PLP lawyer who works with Wayne Munroe and them. And then you have the government against you when you go in against a threat to Wayne Munroe. So when I saw that, it's like, no matter what, he's in trouble. And his lawyer probably is going to advise him. I can tell you now, his lawyer probably is going to tell him, you know what, if you appeal it, you may get more time. You don't know, what could happen. Just leave it alone. You get probation. It won't go on your record. Just leave that alone, man. You get a little probation, let it go. But sometimes it's a time to stand up on principle. If Philip Brave Davis did not take the stand and testify against that young man, there's no way on this earth that he should be found guilty. And if found guilty, there's no way that he should not challenge that sentence. That's section 418 of the Penal Code talks about threats of death. So on the face of it, it looks like, well, that's the prime minister. We better just, find him guilty. Let him go to Privy Council if he want to. But in our court system, you can't touch the prime minister. But we know he ain't really, guilty per se because the prime minister didn't. So just give him probation. That's just how everything looks. I'm going to open the phone lines now, so I don't want to go too long tonight. I open the phone lines. How do you feel about the fact that the woman who was arrested with the gun smuggler is the assistant to Wayne Munroe? Y'all come talk to me now. Let me take this off silent. 803-5995. WhatsApp call me, please. Only WhatsApp call tonight. 803-5995. How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Is this more corruption again? Is the answer going to Pintard and them? Pintard also is known for hanging out with criminals and working with the criminals. Togi and Bobo, Emperor from Fox Hill, and other criminals. Where do we go from here? 803-5995. Y'all give me a call. Talk to me. Talk to me. All right. So I'm going to recap so that we could do a short video and send this out. The young man who was arrested for with 16 guns, 300 pounds of drugs, and other paraphernalia. His mother, who was arrested with him because it was found in their house, is the assistant of Wayne Munroe, the Minister of National Security. She's the first desk, the receptionist. When you go upstairs and you want to see him, you go through her. Not one media house has addressed this. Wayne Munroe spoke and didn't address this. All he did was come and say, oh, the sentence was good. He came and put himself there. He came and spoke to it. Why? Because the case touched whom? Is now the parents of corruption. They're saying that the woman is a hardcore PLP. That part I can't confirm, but that's what they're saying. They're saying that the young man is working with the politicians. Not one media house touched it. Will they touch it? Now let's watch the news tomorrow and let's see which media house is going to call me, which media house is going to call Wayne Munroe and ask him if this woman works for him at the Ministry of National Security. And with that, Wayne Munroe must resign. Because he came to the Bahamian people and said nothing. Didn't touch it. All he said was, oh yeah, man, that 5-year sentence, that was a good sentence. But remember, you only do 2/3 of your sentence in the Bahamas. So he's going to be out in about 3 years. Sorry, he's going to be sentenced about 3 years. And with good behavior, he could do about half of that. So maybe in 18 months, he could be out after being caught with all of that. Only in the Commonwealth of Narnia. We don't have a crime problem, we have a corruption problem. And we keep going from one corrupt party to the next. And this is the genesis of our problem. This is the problem that we have, nothing else. We keep going from one corrupt party to the next corrupt party. And then what they do is they send their trolls to go and talk with me and say, oh, he's corrupt, he's this, he's that, this. They are corrupt. They are benefiting from our natural resources, stealing our sovereign wealth fund, stealing our carbon credits, and making you think that we don't have nothing, that we poor. No, they want you poor. And so election season is about to kick off. They're already campaigning hard in Pinewood. So I just want to say to all of my Pinewood people, out there, just so you know, they are going to drop plenty money on the ground in Pinewood. There's going to be plenty jobs. Take advantage of it. They're doing that, not because they love you. They're doing that because a Pinewood young man, born and raised, is a threat to them. But they still ain't gonna fix your flooding problem. But they go offer you jobs. And they can spend plenty of money. And they can pay plenty of y'all to walk with them. Plenty of y'all. But just remember, they ain't doing this for y'all. They can treat you just like West Grandmama and Bimini. They can come with a bunch of fluff, and now they gone. Let's go to phone lines. Okay. Good afternoon. This is Big Papi. Big Papi, how you doing, man?
Lincoln Ben, you know tread Pinewood, man. You know better than that.
Okay.
Stop it, man.
Okay, if I'm not a threat, then why all this campaigning in Pinewood? Then why are you gonna be spending all this money in Pinewood? Why you gotta bring all these people to campaign in Pinewood? If I'm not a threat, why are you calling right now? You should be ignoring me. You're not calling any other candidate. You're calling me.
They have to campaign because it's almost that time. You say
No. Only them campaigning.
No.
Okay.
You know, hold on. Let me ask you one thing before you talk, Lincoln.
Go ahead.
You talk, but Lincoln, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
You know you ain't no threat. Lincoln, man, you couldn't get your deposit back.
I got my deposit back in Pinewood. I got my deposit back in Pinewood, my brother. Speak facts. I got my deposit back.
All right, you get your deposit back.
A couple of our candidates got our deposit back.
No. All right. Yeah, you're right. You did get your deposit back because you get 649 votes. But what I'm saying
I got more than that, but of course they cut it down on the recount. But yeah, that's fine.
But Lincoln, what I'm saying is you ain't no threat to them lose but 3 or 4 times in the area.
Okay, yeah.
No matter who
Yeah.
People reject
Hey,
they don't want you up.
you have to have thick skin. Nothing good is not, listen, anything good is worth fighting for. And you got to go there and take your blows like a man until you get what you're fighting for. My brother, this country is worth it to me. I am willing to stand up. I'm willing to fight for this. And that's what the Bahamian people can see. I'm not about a party, whether that's COI, PLP, FNM. I'm about this country that we're losing. I am tired of seeing politicians getting rich while the Bahamian people suffer. I grew up in that same Pinewood Gardens with the flooding problem that the FNM and PLP benefited from, and we suffered because of it. All right? And so, listen, us Bahamian men got to learn to be tough. You take your blows and you build your strength until you could win. The PLP did not win their first time around or second time or third time around. The FNM did not win their first, second, or third time around. But eventually, they did. All right? So that's so they could hear you. So all that what you were saying couldn't hear you. So now they can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Now we can hear you. Oh, I didn't hear you.
I say the candidates which you running for 2026 who want to be a COI candidate, none of them get the deposit box.
Okay, thank you. Okay, perfect. Thank you for your call. He said no one who's running going to get their deposit back. We won't lose, you know. We won't lose. The Bahamian people will lose. And so if the PLP really feels that they won't get their deposit back, why would Fred Mitchell call this young man and say, hey, go call Lincoln Bain, he's live right now, call and just say some stuff and cause disruption? All right? Why would if we are not significant, why are you paying attention to us? You shouldn't even be watching this live. Think about that. Listen, I'll spend $400 for my country. I'll spend $400 to be a voice for my country. Wouldn't you? This ain't about winning. This about saving our nation. Because guess what? In Fiji, they brought in the foreigners. The British brought in the foreigners, the Indians, and the Indians eventually increased in population till they matched the regular people, and the regular people was busy with their old parties, PLP, FNM, PLP, FNM, and the foreigners, the Indians, took over and won the election while everyone was sleeping. Guess what they had to do after that? They had to do a coup. They realized that they got overthrown, and they had to do a coup to get their country back from the Indians. Let me tell you something. I'm not willing to give up this country to any foreigner. I see one person of another descent said he won't run in our country to be prime minister. Let me tell you something. You could win, you know, because your population getting up there. But let me tell you something. That could be over my dead body. When the law of man fail you, you revert to the law of the jungle. This is our country, and no one taking this over. Philip Brave Davis will not sell this country out to the highest bidder. 803-5995 is the number. Y'all call in, man. Y'all letting these PLP trolls call in, and y'all ain't calling in. 803-5995 is the number. Yes, let me go to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're live. I'm awesome, man. How you doing?
Great. Tell Papa D or whatever his name is, tell him to continue to call in, man. Because the more he call in, the more he allowing people to see that the PLP is not a party to even consider. So tell him to continue to call in.
Yeah.
The more he call, all he do is allow the eyes of the people who are watching this live to see straight through them. So tell him continue to call in. All right. In regards to the case that is in court, for the Lincoln, the Bahamian people has lost faith in our court system.
Yeah. And in our policing system.
In our police system. We've lost faith. That's why you notice you don't hear a lot of Bahamians out there even saying anything. Notice it. A lot of people, they aren't even saying anything. They wouldn't even mouth off at it. Before a time, you would have big rockers. You notice you're not hearing anybody say anything.
Wow.
We don't trust this system, and it's an indictment on these people, and it's like they going ahead with business as usual. We don't trust our court system. I can tell you so much things that happen in these court systems. But then you, at the end of the day, you would say, oh, the magistrate and the judge or whoever, they have the final say and stuff. Yeah, you may have the final say, but the effect that you have on the people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're sitting in a sacred seat, you need to perform the duties of what's required of that seat. Don't tell me that you're a magistrate and you carry the name and whatever you say. No, you need to do the right thing. A lot of stuff that is going on is not right.
Yep.
So
thank you for your call, man.
Be done. COI.
All right, my brother. All right, 803-5995. 803-5995. This phone buzzing. I don't know which phone that is. You got a WhatsApp call today, guys. You have to WhatsApp call. You can't call on regular line. WhatsApp call today. All right. And so I just want to say this. If you think that all Bahamian men are soft, because you all see these other third-party leaders selling their soul because it gets hard, you know, the mortgage gets due and the college tuitions are due and it's really hard. And you feel like the Bahamian people are too deceived and so you just give up. That's not what brings change. I don't want to say this to every third-party leader, president or former. The PLP won because of consistency. The F&M won because of consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to be courageous. You cannot fear the heathen. Don't be afraid of them. Their covering is gone. Their protection is gone. Their time is gone. Their hour is gone. And it's time for the Joshua generation to take this over. Are we going to sit down and let our land go to someone else? Are we going to sit down and let them continue to abuse us? Their covering is gone, man. And I've already told you they can do whatever they want. They can scandalize me. They can lock me up 1,000,000 times. They can kick me, drag me, stump me, put me in the cell for 72 hours. They can bring their voodoo and Obel. They can do whatever they want. But when it's time for change, nothing can stop it. Y'all can threaten me all y'all want. What I am cannot die. I am an idea and an ideal. What I am cannot die. The idea that Bahamians should be put first in our country, that idea cannot die. And no matter how much you suppress that, and the longer you suppress that, the harder it's going to be for you in the end. You can only suppress it so long, and then it's going to explode. And Bahamians are ready to explode. What I am cannot die. I am an idea that Bahamians should benefit from our natural resources and carbon credits. That idea cannot die. And it is an idea whose time has come. And I'm willing to be a lone voice, although I am not, in the wilderness. You say that we are not going to win an election. I say, I don't care. I will still stand up on the mountaintop and tell every Bahamian that you are valuable, that you are royalty, that you should benefit from your natural resources, that they lied to you and told you that we have no natural resources, that they lied to you and told you that carbon credits is not real, that they lied to you and told you that our natural resources was worth nothing, that they lied to you and told you that Lincoln Bean was selling dreams. Everything I have said has turned out to be true. Everything. And they cannot challenge me on a word that I have said, not one word. Why is it so hard? What is so wrong with what I am doing? What is wrong with me saying that Bahamians should benefit? Why do you fight me, Philip Brave Davis? Why do you fight me, Michael Pintard? Why do you fight me, Wayne Munroe and others? Why does the court system fight me? Why does the police fight me? The truth is, they're not fighting me. They are fighting you. They never thought that Bahamians would be educated and get the documents and read the documents. to see the truth. They never thought we would get to that level. And now that we're getting to that level where we're educated and we're actually reading the documents and actually wanting to see the truth, they realize that you are waking up. And so they are replacing you with people who just want to come to work. You now want to live. You want to have life and have life abundantly. They're getting rid of you and your children. They're telling your children that they are overqualified. While they're replacing you. Good evening, you're live. Good evening, you're live.
Hey, Lincoln, what's going on?
Right here, man. Go ahead.
Yo, list to defend. The person who just called you before the person who just called you. You understand? Tell him to say, Drake and Kendrick Lamar back and forth. You understand? Lamar went down. You understand?
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? So this the same me asking you a question. This for the person who calling you and talking all of this. That word I can't say. So this for you. You understand? So Fred Mitchell, whoever that is you sent over there, Lincoln got to defend this too. You see what I said? So if you want to go back and forth, I can put my number out there, and then you come and we could address each other from man to man. Keep them two, let them two fight. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Just all of this deposit talk and all of this ray and bugger. If you want to go straight, tell them you don't have to fight that. Here's my number. You tell me where we want me, and we can clear the road. No, we don't have to enter none of our people who we voting for. You get what I'm trying to say? You talk left, I can talk right, and if you want to bring it right, then let's get it right. You get what I'm trying to say? This is mad, real bad, Michael Jackson. So I'm mad, real mad, Joe Jackson. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
So like I say, I ain't call here to ask you no question. I call here to defend you, and you ain't asked me to do that. So I talking to the fellow who just called on behalf of that mistress. What's your name again? Fred Mitchell?
Yes.
That mistress who have no kids? Who but 155 and you never see him bring no woman in the forefront, and I can defend that.
He's 70 something.
I can defend that. Like I say, you don't have to say no more, bro. And say he don't know where your shots them coming from. Again, that's what make you so legal. I'm lethal. So tell them you be quiet, man. Let that be the Russian and Ukrainian thing. He don't know where your supplies coming from. And again, I ain't calling here to ask you nothing. That's all on the defender type of why. And again, if he want to go high, we can go high. If he want to go low, that's where I is. That's where I live, the low part of it. I mean, ain't to no back and forth, and you can stand there. Not you, but he can stand there and defend Michelle. Mitchell, you can defend a fellow who, you bring a type of fellas around you. You don't have to answer that, Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
So I don't never want you to think you ain't got nobody on your side. You understand? Because let them tell him come and tell him touch. I ain't afraid to do time for nothing that is right, my friend.
Me either.
And like the man said before me, by any means means necessary, man.
Yeah, man.
That's all I called to say, so I don't want you to think you rolling this. And for that Ray talk with your boy, call on the cell phone and talking about all of this deposit talk. Here's the thing. At least you had the money to pay the deposit. At least you had the money to pay the deposit. And guess what, big man? The man who talking to you, he didn't care if he lose it. So we ain't on that type of little grade 2 and grade 3 level type of talk. If you want to get a monster, like I say, there's places he could direct you. You understand?
Yeah.
And don't call me no troll. I walk around with my best friend, my heart low, and I wear one set of colors. You understand? So I ain't no troll. Call me the bully. That's all I got to say with that.
Thank you for your call, man. We made this clear to the PLP and the Fred Mitchell because he controls his troll. They talk to him on a daily basis, and they're on the payroll. Michael Pintard is now also offering persons $5,000 a month. So if you want to be a troll, especially if you want to fight against Lincoln Made and COI, you can make some good money. I know a PLP troll who gave me a call and said that Michael offered her $5,000 a month. A former PLP troll, $5,000 a month. So they're spending some good money on this. But to that person who talked about, winning and that kind of stuff, listen. I'm a Pinewood man. I grew up in Pinewood Gardens. I survived Pinewood Gardens. I'm not soft. I can fight for this. You hear me? On whatever level they want to come, I am prepared and ready. I'm educated. I'm an educated young man. who grew up on the streets of Pinewood Gardens. I'm trained in any way you can think of, all around. And God blessed me with the training he did for this very day. The experience he did for this very day. Our generation, you see, I want to say this to all the young lions. I started talking to the third-party leaders, etc., who keep selling themselves short. The old lion doesn't just walk away from the pride. You gotta beat him. You gotta run him from the pride. You gotta bite him up and run him. Kill him if you have to, metaphorically, because this government's so petty and womanish. Pillen had to beat, and he had to get bite up a lot until he could beat the UBP. Ingram had to beat Pillen. He had to beat him. The young lions got to take over. And so what we got now is two old lions trying to continue to run the F&M. And all the young lions so scared and frail and fragile that they don't want to stand up and fight. Pintard is an old man. Pintard is 60 years old. I'm not saying that you can't contribute to your country. I'm saying don't call yourself the young generation. There is nowhere on this planet or any other planet where the age of 60 is young. That does not mean that you cannot contribute. Ingram was 42. Pinlan was 36. If you want to see change, you have to go to the people who grew up in a different generation. We need the crew who was born in the Bahamas, not in a colony, not in a British colony, to run this country. Your prime minister grew up counting shillings and pounds. We need a new direction. The older people can guide and contribute their wisdom to what's going on. Someone says, watch it, Lincoln, I'm 58. Yes, and you can contribute to building. We have candidates who are in their 60s. I'm not saying that you can't contribute, but don't try to push the narrative that ministers must pass it on to the next generation. No. Pintard and Minis in set. That's not the next generation. That's the only thing I'm talking about. If you in your 60s, you can guide, you can mentor, etc. But we need the people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s to take this country over. Even in their 60s. But in terms of the leadership and the new direction and change, we need the younger generation to take over. At the next election, I'm still going to be in my 40s. Pintard is not a young man. He keeps his hair low and no hair on his face, no mustache, no nothing, like a turtle, so that you can't tell his age and you forget that he's an old man. He wears jeans and stuff, so you can forget that he's an old man. But we need the next generation to take this over and build a country for our elderly, build a country for our children to return to. We need a new Bahamas. We don't need the same old. I'm going to say this to you. I've been saying this to you. Brave Davis is not the way. You saw the sham they did the other day, faking in Cat Island. And Pintard is not the way. He is a puppet for Brent Simonet and the oligarchs, the Hollow West Coast, etc. If you let Pintard get in there, write this country off. That's all I'm going to say. Remember, I told you those words. Good evening, you're live. Good evening, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Dane. I'm calling really to encourage you and the Bahamian people, along with myself, who wants change for our country. I have about 15 people in my household that I know that is COI. And
wow.
And so the caller that called before, the one with the negative spewing, like you said, they are afraid, and I just want the Bahamian people to know that we have to stand up, and regardless to what they say, and we know the truth. We already know the truth. So They can't do nothing about that now. They trying to take the food out of our mouth and out of our, way, but it's too late for that right now. And so I want to encourage you as the leader to let you know that we are with you.
Thank you.
1,000%. We are with you, and I'm sure there's so much people with you that don't even speak and say nothing, and just because people have to hold their little jobs that they have and stuff like that. But I remember when I was a young girl, how many times Hubert Ingram, the F&M, how many times they lost before they became the party? How many times? Because I remember that when I was a child, but I knew that they lost a couple of times before they became the party. How many times?
4 times they lost. On the 5th time they won.
All right. So is that a disgrace to the COI? Is that a disgrace? And like you were saying,
the COI only lost once. We only had 1 election.
Okay, but I'm talking about the people who think that we should not exist.
Yeah.
Come on. I remember the F&M when I was a child, how many times they lost. It felt to me like it was a lot because I was young. But I just want to encourage the Bahamian people. We know what it is, and we're on the right path, and we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mr. Bain, and you be encouraged. And I remember you from when I was watching you from when you used to be on Shanique Miller's show. And I believe that in spite of what people say about you, I used to be kind of a little upset with you when they used to talk some things and you used to say stuff. I used to be a little upset about with you, but I realized that you were speaking the truth. Like you was just speaking your mind, what it is. And then I was following you from that time. And I know that you are a good leader, a good person. Leaders come from God. I want you to know this. And you must have a good night, and don't worry for the naysayers. All of us in this together.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your call.
Yes, sir.
God bless you. We have a country to save. We have a new Bahamas to build, and we're going to build that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a walkathon in Grand Bahama on Saturday. Support the thing. Support the movement. We have a walkathon in Grand Bahama on Saturday. Make sure that you are there. Registration starts at 6:30. I'm trying to answer you, caller. Just give me a sec. Okay, we got you. Good evening, you're live. Good evening, you're live.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Bain. How are you?
Good evening, my brother. I'm angry at Wayne Munroe. It looks like he did something for his assistant, and this corruption continues, but this is why we fight.
And I applaud you to continue to fight, my brother. But yes, corruption in this country, the Indian people, we gotta want more, man, because it's blatant right in your face.
Yeah.
But I want to address that fellow who called. For the crumbs that you're getting, you're willing to sell out a nation for the crumbs that just benefiting for yourself. And that goes to show a lot to your character if you're listening. Because you're willing to sell out your children and their children just for crumbs for here and now.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you a lot of about your man. So you can beat up your gum all you want, big man. What do you call him, Big Papi? Yeah, Big Papi. Beat up your gums, Big Papi. But you have no credibility, no character as a man because you're not willing to stand up for the long fight for your country and the betterment of your country and your children. And for those who are trying to, you want to break them down for the crumbs that Frederica mentioned that's feeding you. So say that like the Big Papi. But yeah, corruption, we need to wake up towards this corruption, man. It's blatant in your face. And it all, since like you said, PLP from way back. Every time they get in, that's like the endless road of corruption right to their door.
Yep.
All right,
Thanks for your
Mr.
call,
Bain,
man.
continue to fight, man. Have a good night.
God bless you. And it's PLP and F&M, and the corruption continues over and over. So I just want to say before I continue, we have the walkathon this weekend. Make sure you take part in that. Registration at 6:30 p.m. That's at the Nile. Let's get the name of the plaza. That's at That's on West Atlantic Drive at the Niles Grace Center. The Niles Grace Center and they're gonna go to Central Police Station and back. All right, and there's a South too. The South is only $6.99. Go to the phone lines. Okay, hold on one sec. Good evening, caller. You're live.
Good night, Mr. President. How you doing?
I am awesome, man.
Hey, Mr. President. I tuned in late, right? So I didn't get the final what Bobby was talking about. But Mr. President, please don't waste your time talking about Bobby. All right, they little children, okay? they running around looking for a ball to suck on, and you know they got Frederico right there just pushing the narrative. So when Bobby come on, just tell him go and get a ball and suck on it, okay? Because he's just a little child running around the place looking for a tricycle to ride around.
Yeah. I have no problem with the Bahamian people hearing what the PLP is doing. They're paying these persons, and it is a big industry. If you want to make some money right now, because listen, I got some thick skin, and I don't take bread out of people's mouth. If you want to make some money right now, just join Fred Mitchell and the crew to go out there and spread lies and make up stories about Lincoln Bain and COI, and you could make some good money right now. Just sell out your country, and you'll make some good money. And the FNM is now offering persons money to do so also. So if you want to make some money, it's the biggest industry in the country right now. Do what you have to do while you are fighting against Lincoln Bain and COI. We could be fighting for our country and fighting for you also. All right. So that's it.
Mr. Man, I wouldn't touch none of that money because the other day, look, I see Brave Day was on, and looked like that ready to drop off. So I don't even want none of that money from the PLP or the FNM.
Yeah, witchcraft has consequences.
I'd rather go live on the city dump before I take $1 from any one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Good night. Have a best night. Be safe out there, and let's continue on the fight.
Thank you, man. All right. So Fred Mitchell sent his goons to call and let's do distraction. I want to say to all of you who are in the WhatsApp groups, Fred Mitchell instructed the trolls to just go in there and just start throwing insults and just start saying stuff. Just start saying insulting stuff to not allow people to talk about national issues because the PLP cannot stand when it comes to national issues. So just, he told them to just go in there and just start throwing a bunch of nonsense, all right? And so that's all their strategy is. And so the strategy now for the PLP and FNM is that they're going to have some people in the FNM and the PLP who are fighting for contracts. They are fighting to get theirs. And their job is going to be to go out there and recruit the Bahamian people to vote for their party. So right now, those FNMs you see up and down behind Minutes, up and down behind Pintard, they're the ones who trying to get contracts back. They want to be in the clique. They want to get them little positions and jobs, etc. So they are going to go out. Their job is to go out in the public and recruit people so they could benefit. And then what happens is they don't even get what they're supposed to get, or they start complaining, oh, I just got this little $1,500 contract. Times I pay the workers and pay for the same nothing. And they start complaining. All right. And they go to the same swing over and over and over, but they're desperate because for 5 years they were dry. And the PLP and FNM work together to make sure that even their workers stay dry for 5 years so that they'll fight to get back in. Because it's their core team of contract leeches, crumb snatchers that is going to go out there, and it's them who's supposed to go out there and try to grab you and get you in. We're going to win this with genuine patriotic Bahamians. Genuine patriotic Bahamians. We're going to win this because you go out there and recruit your family and friends. The old weapons ain't going to work. Don't mind the rallies. Don't mind the passing out flyers. That's old weapons. What's going to work is your mouth to your family's ass. You see how we're using social media and they can't stop us? The new weapons is what's going to work. They can't stop you. They could lock me up for 72 hours, and silence me for 72 hours. They can't silence you. They could block our lives. They could affect our lives. They can't affect you. So you have to be the catalyst. Once they can't control you, once the people get out of control, they've lost. So this is going to happen because you make this happen. If you're trying to call on a regular line, no, we can't take the regular line today. We're actually using that phone. That's why you have to call on WhatsApp. All right. So we're going to do this not just because you vote, because you make this happen. You fund the party. You support the party. Here we go. These are the links that you could use to support the party directly, or go to our website and do that. Be a part of it. Call on WhatsApp only today. All right. So let's go to the phone lines. Good evening. You're live. Go ahead, caller. Okay, we lost them. And so we're going to win because of what you do. You're going to make this happen. You're going to talk to your family. You're going to talk to your friends. All right. As simple as that. All right. So let's work together to make this happen. You are seeing when the F&M gets in, all you see is corruption. Minister is doing more corruption, and they're trying to make it seem, the Pintard crew is trying to make it seem like Minister did something wrong. Pintard was there. You cannot separate Pintard from Minister. Pintard was a part of the cabinet. Pintard was the worst minister of youth, sports, and culture ever. Close tie with Lanisha Rowan. People even forget Pintard was Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture. And he was the worst Minister of Agriculture in history. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Bean. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
Doing excellent. As you're listening to the discussion tonight, what's so interesting is that as we aim into the region, we move backwards in history, always moving backwards, no matter what the topic or discussion is with these FNMs or PLPs pertaining to our political affiliation. So what's going on? If you take this out of mathematical perspective, and you use a Venn diagram, and you've got 50 years of independence here in the Bahamas, and you tend to see what has FNM or PLP done for the past 50 years, and here we are in 2024. See, we gather information as being this, and it go through one end, and it come on the next. We never tend to let that knowledge and information for us to marinate on our brains and actually think, what have both these parties done that really found this country for the past 50 years, But listen, Mr. Bank, keep on what you're doing, and hope you come blessed.
Thank you, man. So again, the movement is depending on you. There's nothing for me to do. It's for you to do. To talk to your friends and your family. Don't give up on them. Don't give up on them. All of us were lost with the PLP and FNM at one point. Don't give up on them. Keep waking them up. That's your job. You got to convince your family. I can't do that. That's your job. All right? They may not have 2 hours to sit down and listen to me talk. You have time for that, so you go out there and you spread the message. I was talking about them trying to put Pintard as if he's something new, and they've been just copying us, talking about change is here and saying change is unstoppable and this kind of stuff. Oh God, how do you have change with the same people? Pintard is going to be the puppet of Brent Simonet and Fred Smith. Immigration will be a thing of the past if you let Fred Smith get back in through Pintard. Brent Simonet used to do the same thing, flooding our country with immigrants. He was the Minister of Immigration. Same thing. Pintard was the worst Minister of Agriculture. Bamsi went down to nothing under him. Destroyed. Fish were dying, plants were neglected. Nothing happened. There was no innovation at any ministry that Pintard was responsible for. What change you talking about? I'm just being real. I didn't hear Pintard speak out against the cabinet minister and the cabinet once. He was a part of the cabinet. He locked us down too. He didn't say nothing. You know who was standing up? Lincoln Bain and the COI. We were standing up against Minas. Pintard wasn't. He was enjoying himself. So Pintard, don't try to separate yourself. Dwayne Sands, you was with Minas. You was the Minister of Health, helping to lock us down while you were letting the foreigners have all the advantage in the world. Pintard, you talking about Crown Land? You was in charge of the majority of Crown Land as Minister of Agriculture. Under Pintard's watch, the legal immigrants used our Crown Land that Pintard was responsible for, our agricultural Crown Land, what they say in Abaco, the farm. They used our farmland and expanded while Pintard and Minas and all of them watched. Do you know who fought it while they was in denial? Lincoln Bain, Marie Darkton, Charlotte Green, and the rest of the team jumped on the plane, spent our money, jumped on the plane, went over to Abaco and said, look at what Pintard and Minas are allowing on our Crown Land. We went and found a fella who had the lease for one of the Crown Land, and he had a receipt where he put summations that we showed what was going on. Fell asleep. Because this take courage. Had police officers called me today, Lincoln, you got to let everybody know that this thing, with this gun thing, this go deep. We can't do it now. This the fellas who could carry a gun. They take my gun. This the fellas who could carry a gun. This the fellas who could lock you up and take your freedom at any time. This the fellas who we expect to defend us. They can't stand up to the system. We standing up to the system. That system that we're about to change. We could change this whole system. Stay tuned. Someone says Pintard never spoke about Freedom of Information Act or Sovereign Wealth Fund, none of these things. I heard Pintard's speech, not a word about the Sovereign Wealth Fund and carbon credits. Freedom of Information Act, none of that. I heard Minas speak, none of those things. The only way for change is to bring change. We're going to start releasing our candidates in short order. Our council is going to meet in short order, and we're going to start ratifying our candidates. Some of them are already on the ground, but we're getting ready for war. If you're in Pinewood Gardens, I need you to talk to your family and friends. If you have family and friends in Pinewood Gardens, you need to talk to them. We need change. The PLP and FNM say they can spend plenty of money in Pinewood. I am so glad for that because I want my brothers and sisters in Pinewood to do well. But I just don't want them to get swing. Again. All right, so I want to thank you all for tuning in. Just to let you know again, make sure I share this with everybody. That woman who was arrested with a gun works in the Ministry of National Security. The Ministry of National Security. She is Wayne Munroe's assistant. So, of course, he's going to come in the papers and say that the sentence was a good sentence. We must have lost our marbles. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want change, you got to fight for change. Or you're going to be stuck with the same thing. Again, if you want to participate, in the building of Vision 2030, please go to our website and look for the think tank. You'll see the menu. Go to the menu, go to the think tank, and register there. Let us know which one of those areas. It could be more than one. It could be all that you want to participate in. we are going to be having our think tank committees that are going to be having the discussions. It's going to be virtual, so you don't even have to come over to your house to discuss what's going on. Our think tank start on June 5th. And so we want you to be a part of the building of the new Bahamas. All right. And so we're going to put the plans and strategies together for all of the things we've been talking about. If you have experience in a certain area, if you're a nurse, come and assist us with putting the plan for health care together. All right. If you have experience in building roads, come in and contribute to urban transrenewal or road building or whatever areas that we have. All right, our areas on mental health, on disabilities, et cetera, et cetera. We're covering everything. We are getting ready for the new Bahamas. The F&M and PLP manifestos and blueprint is about funneling money to themselves and their backers. So, for example, if Brand Sumner gives $6 million to the F&M, the campaign, they have to give him $60 million in contracts because, you got to make profit, all right, in order to get that $6 million back. That's a loan. And so when the F&M come in, they build road. PLP come in, they build house, and then they thief. They do a bunch of little construction projects, and they put their people in charge of it. What is sickening is that the PLP Ministry of Education had a bungle with Oren Bailey where the roof caved in as they were building it. And they gave the same Bishop Roker the contract, $18 million contract. $18 million contract was given to the same man who bungled Oren Bailey, and he was given that contract to build a little building. $18 million to build a 12,000 square foot building? What manner of nonsense is this? $18 million? Hold on, let's I like to do math. 18 million. All right, 18 million divided by 12,000. All right, they gave him an $18 million contract. Most construction is like $100 a square foot, $150 a square foot, maybe even in a luxury $200 a square foot, right? Any contractors on here? Do you know how much money Roker is being paid per square foot for the building of that airport? $1,500 a square foot. The building is 12,000 square feet, and it's $18 million. Y'all keep voting for corruption. Jesus. Pintard getting, you can imagine the kind of contracts Brent could get with his puppet in there. Jesus. $1,500 a square foot. Trump Tower. Don't pay $1,500 a square foot. The Mar-a-Lago, there's no building in the world that paid $1,500. There's nothing of luxury that's going to be in that building. Nothing. Special marble tiles. No special showers and zinc and golden tubs. $18 million. And all they put up was one wall so they could do one video. That's it. One wall, like I 5 minutes ago. One wall. I do an hour and a half tonight. One wall. Just so you could be reminded. Here's your one wall.
Someone got me over there. Let's stage it.
Oh, yeah.
Prime Minister walking in on site. This is the sites. Move like you're doing something. But I need you all in the shot. Okay, see that? Prime Minister, Minister Laroda, Minister of Health is on the site at New Bight, Cat Island, showing the progress that we've got. Also right now, I'm going to show you, that's Bishop, who is the general contractor. He is explaining to the Prime Minister as we speak on the progress and the movement of what's going on here in New Bight, Cat Island. In the legendary New Age terminal building in Cat Island. In Cat Island. The workers are here. Yes. Take a shot like this. Don't worry, you got the picture. Okay. There you go. No pose. We are doing it. Yes. Hear the noise of the workers. The thing is being informed with the minister. Both ministers are here with him. Yeah. Look at that. Jesus, look at this. And God good?
Send that to me. Let me put a poster on that.
Good.
Hey, Curly.
Move like you're doing something. That's the new motto, ladies and gentlemen. Move like you're doing something. Move like you're doing something. Let me show you how to move like you're doing something.
Champagne, the bubble, they can't call you. Africa, move like a zolo zolo. Wine pan it, colo colo. Wine pan it, colo colo. Stone ginger wine, they can't call you. Like a African, shake like a zolo zolo.
Every girl want to walk off for me. Every girl want to walk off for me. Every girl they want.
Move like you're doing something, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for tonight. I appreciate all your calls, your texts, etc., etc. Move like you're doing something. Fake it until we make it. Fake like you're building a hospital, even though the deal ain't signed. All right. Have big talks about this hospital, even though the deal ain't signed. Put the hospital on that specific land so Frankie Wilson and them could get the money. Move like you're doing something. All right. Keep flamming the Bahamian people as we go. I want people to stop calling it a hospital. That's a clinic, first of all. Secondly, I want you to stop saying that only women are going to benefit. That's a hospital for women. That's not a hospital for women. That's a hospital for women who are having babies. Women are still not going to be seen in this hospital. This is not a hospital for women. Only if you're having baby. So if you're having a heart attack, if you're sick, if your legs are swelling up, that hospital is not for you. Any of the problems or ailments that you have that you go to the hospital for now, that is not for you. That hospital is not for women. That is a maternity hospital, and therefore they'll have children in there because it's a maternity hospital. It's a flam. If you want to make something sound justifiable, you always include women and children. So people can say, yeah, but it's for the women and children. That hospital is not for women. It's a flam. 290 million. Okay, mark time again. Let's see. Let's do some math. Let me see if I can find this hospital document quickly for you. Where did I put the document? Let me pull this up quickly. Come on, document, don't hide from me. Let's pull this up for the people. Where is that document? I want to pull that up because there's some information on there I want to look at quick, and it's the last thing, and then we're gone. All right, and then y'all can share this with your friends and family. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up quick for you. Come on, open up. Just give me 1 sec. We're almost there. Let me see. I don't have it handy. Oh my God, I thought I had it handy for y'all. Let me see. Okay, I got it. I didn't calculate this, but let me look at this quick. Yeah, you got this thing. All right. Just give me 1 sec. Let me just pull it up for you. Remember, they are doing over 50 acres, but only 2.5 acres of it they're using. So you know why. All right, you know exactly why. Because they just want to buy that land from Frankie them, so they can make money off of it. All right. Okay, hold on. Now let me show you something. Let me pull this up for you. It's the last thing I can freak you out with, and then I'll be gone. All right. I'll leave you to go and evangelize to your friends and family. Watch this. This is the building. All right. Remember, only the front here is where they put in the building, and this is the whole site right here. But see, they said 50,000 acres. Sorry, 50 acres. I said it wrong. But they're only using 2.5 acres of it, which is 111,000 square foot. That's just 2.5 acres. All right. They put this big number so you wouldn't notice they're just using the square footage. Now let's do the maths. 111,000 square foot. Let me show you how much that is per square foot for this nonsense that they are building. Make sure you're sitting down for this. Let me see if I could pull that up for you. Where's that calculator? Give me a calculator. Where's the calculator? Okay, here we go. There we go. Calculator. So, make it smaller for you because I want you to appreciate this. It's 290. You put this up a little bit. 290 million. All right, that's how much they borrowing, right? 290 million. This how much square foot the building could be. So that's divided by 111,548. Right? They are paying 2,599 per square foot. For what? The money they borrowing is to build the building, not for the equipment and all that kind of stuff. Right? Not as far as I know. $2,600 per square foot. Nowhere on earth that is the case. Now, payments might like getting swing, and someone say, "Oh, you all didn't get your deposit back." Well, you're already getting robbed. I mean, we already getting robbed. So if I don't get my deposit back, so be it. But they just stole $290 million. They are stealing $18 million for that structure. Remember the road work in Andres? How much millions was that? 100 million on roadworks in Elutra. 100 million. That's $1 million a mile. $100 million. And we just sitting there and say, oh, they doing a good job. They're doing a good job. See, the Prime Minister's wife can dance. I heard the worst speech in Bahamian history, and people were after. They even talked about it on the news, say it was a good speech. Jesus Christ. The worst speech in Bahamian history of any leader. It's like we're under a spell. We're under some kind of spell. Because if you would spend $2,600 a square foot on a hospital, y'all shut this country down and give it back to the Queen. Tell Charles come to his country. If you're spending $1,500 plus per square foot on an airport, tell Charles come carry this country, pick it up, and carry it to England. Carry it with the drones we never got. The Marco Archer app we never got that they spend millions on, and everything. The country falling apart. It ain't working. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. I love you. I'll see you next time.